What's cracking, people? It's your baby mama's favorite cousin T-Taw. And today we are going to have the conversation covering a topic that I know a lot of people they deal with, they struggle with. Some people actually excel at this topic. Today we are going to be discussing whether or not women and men can be friends. Uh-oh. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. There are some points that I want to make sure that we bring across over the course of the conversation. But I really am going to have to rely on feedback and information from the audience. Today, this is definitely going to be a conversation that's going to have to involve and rely upon the input of those who are watching and those who have the ability to comment their opinions, their experience, and their thoughts on this topic, whether or not men and women can be friends. But before we get started, of course, let's welcome those who are here early. Absolutely. What up with it? True Sayer 3000.
What's poppin', twin?
What's popping with you? Shout out to Kenneth Young.
What's poppin', twin?
Absolutely. Greetings to you, masters of the game. Absolutely. No guarantees.
What's poppin', twin?
Great topic. I think so. Tristan Fitness.
What's poppin', twin?
What's happening with it, man? Holding it down in the gym space, of course. Lil Rock.
What's poppin', twin?
What's good with it? Pharaoh.
What's poppin', twin?
What's happening with the masters of the game? Absolutely. My guy Chris.
What's poppin', twin?
Absolutely. Indeed. Now, before we really get into the conversation, you know that I like to set up the topic before we really get rolling. And today's topic is not going to be any exception. And actually, full disclosure, when I was putting this information together a little while ago, because I try to brainstorm and sort of work through these topics of conversation in advance. And while I was putting together the notes for this particular conversation, the situation with the Marry the Nerd, conversation came up. And in that conversation, I put in references that showed a difference in the way that men and women communicate. And I thought that this difference in the way that we communicate really factors into how we approach this conversation about men and women having the ability to be friends. If we speak a different language, right, in terms of how we view reality, in terms of how our worldviews are shaped, in terms of how we engage with truth, then how is it possible for men and women to truly be friends? And when I say a friend, let me throw out some terms to see if this will work for you. A confidant, someone within whom you can confide information, knowledge, experiences, and wisdom that you can't do so with just regular people or associates or coworkers or even family members if they're not that close. A wingman slash wing woman, right? Someone who you can count on to know you well enough, to know your type well enough. To whereas if you were to find yourself in a situation at a bar, at a club, at a rooftop, right, at an event, and your wing person, your wingman, were to see your type, would they be able to close the deal? Would they be able to chat up the person who they see is your type? Do they know enough about you? Do they know the exact things to reveal about you? Not too much, just enough. Are they the type of person who can set up the alley oop, so to speak, so that you can go ahead and bring that home? Here's another point that I believe is important when we talk about a true friend. Is this person capable of being a ride or die? Now, of course, I speak about the ride or die in my book, The Seduction Scriptures. Of course, you have your copy. Why wouldn't you have that? But the most important or the most valuable aspect of a ride or die is that even if you're not engaging in an intimate dynamic, that person is still there for you. That person will travel to be with you. You'll travel to be with that person. Your stand in at that person's special events, a black tie affair, a wedding, a birthday, baby shower, whatever. That person is seen as a high level or having a high level of priority, and you award them with the ability to impact your life. So these are just some points that I want to put out there. Think about it. I see we've got some early questions that we'll attend to in just a sec. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring to the stage none other than the OG player himself, Mr. Rom Will.
I'm too poor for wife, so where's my wife?
Salute to you, Rom. How you feeling today?
Oh, feeling great. You know why I'm late. I told you that. I said, dang. She threw me off. I'll leave it at that. You already know. I don't be telling y'all some stuff.
Listen, let me tell you something. If it's good to you,
It's good to me. Yeah.
we
There's some
understand.
complications though. I'll leave it at that. That's why I can't talk about it too much. But yeah,
Oh, it's
what's
all
up,
fine.
y'all? Man, look, let's just be real, man. You had to hit me up. I was like, oh shit. Oh shit. I
Oh
was
no.
like, this is one of those days, but it's a good thing, y'all. It's a good thing. Yeah, we talking about friends and stuff, man. Well,
Uh-huh.
so
Uh-huh.
yeah, what's going on? What questions you got, man? What questions you
Well,
got?
well, uh, I guess this first question that we have is from Brian. He says, "Can a gay man be a legit wingman?" I think
Probably
so.
not.
So, in
Well,
my
I don't know.
experience,
Well, you say your experience. Me, I'm like, I don't know. It depends. It depends. It depends. You know, if he's like a spy in that group, yeah, he can be
right,
good. But
right.
otherwise, no. What would you say though?
So, I would say this: in my experience, look at the question he asked. He didn't ask if a gay man can be a legit friend or best friend or whatever. He said a legit wingman. Definitely, definitely. Especially because um, men in those spaces, men of that affinity, have a way with the female language. So they are,
Okay.
uh, they can be your ultimate cheerleader, right?
Okay.
If you put them in the right position. That's my opinion on that. Rom,
Well,
obviously, yeah.
it depends. It depends. They can be a spy sometime. It depends though, because sometimes they can let you know some stuff. Because now
Right.
that I think about it more, and I apologize again for coming in late, but now that
No
I
worries.
think about it more, there were some gay men I've known in the past. They'll say, "Oh yeah, shorty checking you out, shorty checking you out," and stuff like that. So it depends. It depends. It
Absolutely.
strongly depends. But um,
Overall. So I
yeah, it depends on the situation. It's a case by case basis. I wouldn't say, yeah, go get you a gay man, because that gay man, he might give you that look. He
but
might be like, hey, you need some ice on your like neck or something. Yeah,
listen,
shit, let me do that. So you might have some problems there. I
listen,
mean, so you gotta know. Yeah, go ahead, man.
listen, Rom, these are valid concerns. Let me be honest. in my years as an exotic entertainer, trust me, there were a lot of folks from the alternative community in and around our spaces selling
Mm,
purses, selling
mm-hmm.
toys, selling fragrances at those parties. So they uh, they had no qualms or no issues approaching you as the dancer, as the male exotic entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
You learn to be direct with them, just like you would be direct with any other man, right?
Yeah, okay.
No, thank you. That's not my get down.
Okay.
That's not, and just go from there, right?
Okay. All
And
right.
and stand on it as you are, secure in who you are, secure in your masculinity, secure in your identity. You are going to exude the type of energy that puts everybody else in their position, in their relative position to you. And
Okay.
as long as you stand on business, there isn't going to be that type of weird, wishy-washy gray zone. Because if there's a weird, wishy-washy gray zone, that means that there's a weird, wishy-washy energy within you. So
Oh, okay.
that would just be my experience with that. That's what I would say.
Okay.
But right, I
Okay.
mean, I wouldn't recommend going out of your way to court somebody or try to grab somebody or befriend somebody in an alternative from the alternative community. If it
Nah.
happens organically or whatever, in terms of your friends group or associates or work, uh, coworkers, it is what it is. Leverage that opportunity into
Mhm.
like Brian said, position them as a wing person, and you'll be
Yeah, yeah.
interested and surprised at the results, how well they're able to, ingratiate themselves into a woman's friends group. So that's just been my experience. Everybody, obviously, to each their own. Figure
It
out what's working
depends
for
on
you.
where you meet them, and yeah, it depends on the situation. And yeah, you do have to, with your whole energy, let them know, hey, you ain't down for whatever. And sometimes they'll be cool with it.
Yeah,
If
no,
they
absolutely.
really know, they'll let you know. Cause I remember this young lady, there was some party over at that place, and he had some provocative pictures of her. I don't know how he got them, but he was like, "Hey, you want to see a picture of her with her breasts out?" Of course, he didn't say it like that, but
Of course.
just showing some stuff. But he showed me some pictures. I was like, "Oh, okay," because he already knew. He already knew. Shoot, she was letting people know. So whatever.
Li- Listen, Ram, I know this isn't the topic of conversation for today, but let's be honest. To all the select men who are in the audience, of course you've been hit on by another man before. If not,
Hmm.
if you haven't, what does that even mean, Ram?
You know what?
Does that
You
make
ain't.
you
They
non-select?
I'm gonna tell you what, man. If that does happen, though, man, you do have to let them know right away because one thing, if you truly a select man, you catching everybody's. I mean, shoot,
Right.
you catching them. Yeah, you catching the beautiful women, but you catching some ugly women, though. You know, some women with unfortunate faces and the bodies of water buffaloes and stuff. And so
Absolutely.
you had to let them know those women, they might try to get you drunk or something, or they try to say, hey, you want some, bring you some food. They'll come hard or something. And then but you gotta watch out for them though, just real quick, because this is a whole other conversation. I don't want to get too far from the friend conversation,
Uh-huh.
but they be like, you don't need that condom. And you be like, what? And
A
you know,
booger
some
wolf.
dudes will be like, okay. And then you about to pull out or something, they grab your ass or something and be like all up in there and shit,
Listen,
man.
listen. Just to wrap this up, all right, and progress with the conversation about men and women being friends. If you ever find yourself any type of man, select man, pre-select, even non-select, right, on a
Hmm.
dry day, right, you find yourself being hit on by another man, just like Cat Williams said about P Diddy. You got to tell Diddy no
Hmm.
immediately.
Yeah, yeah. Tell them no. Tell them no. Don't, don't,
And just stand
don't.
on that. So anyway, shout out to Joe Blast.
What's up, Joe? What's up, bro, Joe?
Appreciate that. Finn, appreciate the $5 contribution. Respect to my cuz in the general. Every time 100. We absolutely agree with that. Question from Pharaoh says, would you say women have a different meaning for friends that men don't understand? Absolutely. Are you
Yeah,
kidding?
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they looking at stuff. They look at stuff way different. If you just listen to how women say everything, last week we were talking about that whole nice guy thing. See, see we'll think nice is like some virtuous dude. They just think nice is just somebody they don't want to have conjugal relations with. We still get the half an hour, so I'll be nice, cousin, to you. I'll be
Appreciate that.
nice.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You know, I'm smiling a bit more, but we'll let it go at that.
excellent. No, we appreciate that. Listen,
Lord have mercy. We must stay focused, brothers. We must stay focused.
that's just for
Oh
you.
yeah, no, yeah, we do. Yeah, let's stay focused, man.
Listen,
Man,
in
you
terms of
had to catch me, man. I was just totally off. That's why I'm late, y'all. I'm just, but
listen,
late for good reasons.
look. Ram is demonstrating what we call keeping it P, right? Getting it together, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of Pharaoh's question, women definitely have different meanings for friends than that of men. Just
Yeah.
when you observe women in their spaces, a new person to their space, women will refer to them as friend. They'll say, "Hey, friend," or
Mm-hmm.
something of that nature. They're not talking about confidant. They're not labeling this new person as someone that they can depend on. They do that so that they can disarm this person, so that they
Mm-hmm.
can see really who this person is. Women have very, very
Mm-hmm.
different ways of vetting new people than men do, right? We have our rituals
Yeah.
as men. Hey, we'll shake his hand to see what his hand grip is like. We'll pat him on the back to see if his backbone is weak, right? We'll try to offer him a shot, right, to see what he can take. All right, we'll ask him questions, to see what his position on certain topics of conversation are, just to sort of challenge his position as wanting to enter into a foreign space, because we've already established our region. We've already established the dynamics within our group. If there is an outsider that's trying to come in, we men have a way of vetting this outsider, and women have a very, very, very different way of doing the same. So
Mm-hmm.
a woman's definition of a friend is always initially going to be uh utility. That's
Yeah.
always initially what a woman's definition of a friend,
Mm-hmm.
especially towards a man. Now see,
Mm-hmm.
for a woman, they will put her in a position so that she has to pay tribute to the group as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Invite her on the group trip just so that they can get some more money,
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
to make it lighter on the rest of the friend. All kinds of levels of utility for
Mm-hmm.
someone who they barely even know. There's
Mm-hmm.
so many stories online about that. So,
Mm-hmm.
yes, to answer your question, they really do have different definitions of friends that the average man doesn't understand. But the average man doesn't understand and can't appreciate a woman's roster. And I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about every woman's roster. Every woman has a roster, not
Yeah.
necessarily of men that she's sleeping with or being intimate with, but men that she's entertaining and have put together as a network of support, be it
Mm-hmm.
emotionally,
Yeah.
support, be it financially, support, be it protection wise. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they've always got somebody who they can call to handle things for them.
Yeah.
So, yes, the answer to that question is yes. They have a very different definition for friend. Go ahead, Rami. You were about to say something.
Well, I was liking what you were saying about they'll have men for different things. Yeah, they'll have that man, even in their phone book, one the man to take them out because I heard somebody, it was somebody supposed to be some dating coach talking about, oh, yeah, it's a romantic thing when a man takes a woman to dinner. I said, no, women, I'm thinking to myself, women, they'll have some guys just to take them to eat so they don't have to spend their own money. And they might even be listed in their smartphone as that. Their number come up. It's like, oh, food call. And then they
Mhm.
have some guy to fix some stuff around their place, some guy to fix their car, some guy to hang out with, go to the cookout with Uncle Junior, but they ain't going to give him any. Some guy maybe just to eat them out. And I do mean eat them out. That's all he get. Some men
Yes.
to work on the breastises, and then
Yes.
some man to blow them out who nobody knows about. Their own
Yeah.
friends might not know about them, but they will put in men in different groups. Because if you look at my book, Nice Guys and Players, and I talk about the select categories, I was very general what I was talking about, but they will break men down even further because when my book first came out, I showed it to some women. They were like, shoot, we got some more, Mr. This, Mr. That. These were some women breaking that down. So when they
Yes.
say friend, it depends on what type of friend you are. Because even if you put in their friend zone, it's like what you put there for. What do
Yes.
you put there for? What are you there to do? Because as cousin T Tall pointed out very aptly, every man, most men to him is going to be some type of utility. Most men, most
Yes.
men, because they don't even want most men. And I mean, yeah, they might have that one man that is blowing their back out, but then they might tell him, say, okay, you see me in public, acting like you don't know me, or you can't call me on these days. I never forget when I did this radio show and I talked with this lady like off the air. And she said she had this guy who she told him not to call her on Wednesday and Thursday. And I looked her dead
Mhm.
in the eye and I said, yeah, that's when you with your other man. She was like, exactly.
All right.
So you
Yeah.
you gotta know, see, like every time you deal with a woman, yeah, she'll say friend, but you gotta know, okay, what type of friend are you to that particular woman?
Yes. Yes. And play your position. If that is mutually beneficial to you. Excuse me. Now, I want to talk about something that you mentioned, Rob, when you were talking about the various days of a week that a woman will assign to different men and
Hmm.
the different levels of engagement. So when I spoke about the ride or die for a man
Hmm.
on our ride or die has days of the week for other men, and
Yeah,
we understand that.
yeah, yeah,
She has, like you said, the eater, right?
yeah.
Who's just assigned that position as eater, and she will let
Hmm.
us know, hey, yeah, he's the eater,
Hmm.
and she would never be seen out in public with the eater. However, like I said earlier, she will happily add myself or Ram as a plus one to a black tie affair,
Oh yeah, yeah,
add
yeah,
us as a plus one to a wedding as a guest,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Be-
And you
Because
got to know it.
yeah, no, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna say this old school player. He had wrote a book. You might not have a woman if his name is Russell Price in the Washington D.C. area. He's in his 70s, and he said you either have a position or you have a spot. And
Mm,
basically, what he was saying is some men are um, just there. That's the main man. He can come whenever. But then some men just for different things at different times. And as a man, you just got to know which one that you're in. What position are you in? What are you to that woman? Yeah, you might be the Thursday man, but you ain't going to be the Saturday man. And you really would be the man who, if you see her in the street, don't say a word to her. Don't say a word. Just walk, keep walking. And of course, we got the infamous 12 midnight to 5 in the morning man.
Yes.
And shoot, he definitely better not say anything to her. In fact, they better act like he better act like he don't know her. She might walk right past him, don't say a word.
Yes.
And you got to know that. I mean, and women have that. See, when they definitely would. You said something very powerful. They have rosters. See, some of these guys out here don't realize that these women. First of all, there's no real. Even though I say these women thirsty,
Mm-hmm.
I've said that they thirsty for that like one man who can do it all. But
Yes.
women always have a man, even if they ain't fucking them. If a woman wanted to, she could fuck whoever or have sex with whoever. My bad, I'm a little early talking dirty, but
Okay.
here's the thing with it. Here's the thing. They might have a bunch of men around them, but they not sexually attracted to them. They if you find a woman and she's halfway attractive, like four and up. I'm just going to say four and up, right? What we
Mm-hmm.
consider four and up. She is not. She always got a man around her. It's just a question whether she want to do anything with that particular man.
Right.
Always.
Yes. And like I said, if you are the type of man that she uh, desires to be seen out in public with,
Hmm.
you have to understand, just to keep it in the realm of the topic of conversation regarding whether or not men and women can be friends, you have to understand that she is in a position as well as you are in a position. And
Hmm.
and I know that we have a lot of men who practice monogamy, who listen
Hmm.
to these conversations, who follow a faith-based path, who are
Hmm.
believers, who believe in the in certain doctrines and philosophies. I really want to impress upon you that we are talking about human nature right now,
Hmm.
right? We you know when we are having our coaching sessions, private one-on-ones with different men who are at different stages of their development, the topic of their faith or their belief system always comes up. As a matter of fact, I make sure that I bring that up early and often, because I know that the remainder of the consultation is going to be impacted by that. And if we don't put that on the table first,
Hmm.
we're not going to be able to have honest progress. You see what I'm saying? Because I need to know what your relationship with yourself is. I need to know what your relationship with sex is. I need to know what your relationship with women is. What the current status of that relationship is. How do you relate to women? How do you relate to sex? How do you relate to yourself? Once I have an honest foundation for that, now we can start to develop strategies. Now we can start to identify value
Hmm.
propositions within those relationships, within those dynamics that allow you to progress on your path of mastery. Now, Ron, we have a question. I have a question
Hmm.
here. I think it's an interesting question in terms of what a a woman who is a friend, a confidant, someone who can be an advisor or sounding board, can assist this person with. D. Kurt says, "Hey guys, haven't dated in 3 years. Can you give me some advice on getting back into the dating scene?" Ron, what do you think first?
Well, if he were to, if we gonna keep it on this whole men and women be friends, a woman, she can be, if you have any women that you are called a friend, she can give you some inside information. See, if you got to have women around you and you calling them your friend, they have to be doing something for you. It's like, don't get into that friend zone where you trying to get with the woman and she say, "Oh, you just a friend, you just chasing that woman." She might use you if she even wants you around. Because sometimes women will say that just because they not going to just say, "Look, I ain't interested,"
Right.
right? So the advice, like you would talk to them, and if they your friend, real friend, they could tell you, hey, maybe you need to have the barber bless you a bit more, maybe you need to address a bit more, or maybe this is what these women are saying. They can give you an inside view of what's going on in the woman's world. They can
Right.
tell you what they really thinking about some stuff. That's how you that's the way. If you want to like,
I think you're coming in now. I think there's a storm coming in.
okay,
But
something happened. You okay?
yeah, yeah, we're here. So my response to this
Oh,
particular,
okay, okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, we're back. My response initially to this question is definitely book a session so that we can get a baseline in terms of
Mhm.
what it is that you hope to get out of the dating experience now after having been out of that realm or that arena for 3 years, right? What do you want out of dating? Are you trying to have interesting experiences and meet different people so that you can have stimulating conversation, or are you trying to find a bang buddy, or are you trying to fulfill a fantasy? What is it that you are looking to get out of the dating scene? Now, in terms of having uh, a friend who happens to be a woman, do you, like Rom said, have the ability to leverage that relationship into
Yeah.
uh, her assisting you, throwing you an assist back
Mhm.
to get you back into the dating scene? Women know where the parties are. They know where the Waffle
Mhm.
House is. They know where the brunch spot is. Use that dynamic. Use that relationship in order to assist you into getting back into social spaces so that it'll be easier for you, that much easier for you to get back into that rhythm, because the dating scene has a rhythm. It has a pulse. It's a living sort of organism, right?
Mhm.
And it has its movements. It has its seasons and its cycles. So that would be my initial
Yeah.
advice for that. Obviously, there's a lot more involved if you want to be successful in achieving uh, whatever your goal is. But yeah, that's the initial response to that.
Yeah.
Um, Shout out to Race for Shard Smith. And anybody who is watching, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Bless the bottom of your screen where we have scrolling Rom's Cash App and his Patreon. And definitely forward this live. Yes, we are live. Yes, we are live.
Yeah.
Forward this live to someone who you know can benefit from this ism. Now,
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. I mean, this is very important because that whole friend zone thing, that friendship thing, is very important because here's the thing. Just like women have different guys for different things, it's no problem with a man doing the same thing. You can have that woman who could be like that spy in the group, because that's one thing I have. If I have any questions about anything, I have some women I can call and say, hold up, is this what y'all thinking? This what y'all thinking? This what y'all doing? Because women be telling me, I got a whole bunch of women. You know, some I got with, some I didn't, some I haven't got with yet. But whatever the case, they open with me about what's going on. And I be hearing some stuff. I can say, okay, which I see. They'll just tell me some stuff. Like I had one woman, she tell me about some stuff about some guys out in California. And
mhm.
I'm like, girl, I'll be tearing your ass up. And I tell them too. Like if they ain't right in front of me, but I be finding out, and that's why I be like, these women are thirsty out here because they be having some guys trying to holler at them, but then the guys be all up on some corny ass shit, and
Right.
you don't have to do all that. They will tell you that. See, you want to get different women for different things, and then even if you ain't trying to get deal with relationships with them, they might have business connections. So
Right.
you talk to them about that. As Master Teacher BGS would say, do they have a Rolodex?
Mhm.
You know, so you use them for different things. See, You got to have a connection with women. Ain't no shame in having that.
Yes,
Ain't no shame in having that.
absolutely. Uh, Again, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to this particular live stream. Shout out to Tristan Fitters. We appreciate that sawbuck. It says for the ism. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, moving forward, there are some interesting points that I wanted to discuss in terms of what a friendship. We're just talking about friendship among men, uh, carry with them, let alone a friendship between a man and a woman. Now, beyond the what I refer to as the space of vulnerability,
Mm-hmm.
not intimacy, I think
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the most important aspects of entertaining someone or allowing someone into your life as a friend, as a confidant, as a voice of reason,
Mm-hmm.
you have to ask yourself, can they be trusted? And
Oh yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
your space of vulnerability.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm gonna tell you what, that is very important. Can they be trusted? I mean, you might have to vet them. Don't just see some like fine woman and stuff and say, "Oh, okay, I'm just gonna be friends with her." You need to see, talk with her a bit, find out, like observe her, pay attention to that, because you get some women, they see a mark. They might tell you whatever. They might say, "Oh, okay, let's set him up." Let's set him up with this other woman. Let's both get that money out of him. So you gotta be looking at it. You gotta be thinking. Don't just get with it. Don't just grab some woman and say, okay, we can be friends now. That first thought from that woman is going to be, Mark. Okay, let it grow. Let it grow again. Like if you want a job or something with a woman, you gradually talking with her, or you see her at the gym constantly, and y'all get gradually talking. Let it happen, like, and then reading her the whole time.
Yes.
Reading her the whole time. Just say, okay, like paying attention. Like if you see her at a gym or something. Like I see some women at the gym. I'm paying attention. Okay, who else they talking to? And
Yes.
most of the women I see at the gym, I'm the only one they friendly to. I wonder why. The guys be coming up to me, be like, "Oh man, you know her?" It's like, "Man, she just a buddy. She just a
Right.
high friend." you know.
Right. And I think it's really interesting to distinguish between vulnerability and intimacy. You see,
Okay.
especially when we talk about men who have friend groups, men
Mhm.
who have other men who meet in third spaces that are designed for being vulnerable.
Mhm.
For example, obviously we have the barbershop space and the idea of being able to share uh, your thoughts, your concerns, and your challenges among other men who have varying levels of experience, varying levels of wisdom, right?
Mhm.
Especially at the black barbershop, right?
Mhm.
You have you can have millionaires with 9 to 5, minimum wage workers there, right?
Yeah.
All in the same space, talking about family matters,
Mhm.
talking about concerns in politics, talking about what a woman just did or what she doesn't do, or child custody, anything, a range of topics. That is a true space of vulnerability among
Mhm.
men who will not then take that information that was shared in a a confidential space and then try to use that against them in an argument or something of that nature. You see, that's a very
Mhm.
big difference between having a man who's a friend as
Mhm.
opposed to having a woman who's a friend,
Mhm.
right? You can trust that he's not going to weaponize information,
Mhm.
right? If he gets emotional for some reason. You can trust that he's going to keep it P, as we like to say, keep it player,
Mm-hmm.
meaning keep it cool, calm, and collected, even keel
Mm-hmm.
in terms of how he receives your vulnerable information, how he
Mm-hmm.
processes your vulnerable information, and how he reflects on his response to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The passing of a loved one,
Mm-hmm.
the the challenges at work,
Mm-hmm.
the fear of not reaching your highest potential. Could you imagine confiding in a woman who may not be the best candidate for a friend, that you
Mm-hmm.
have a fear of failure, that
Mm-hmm.
some trauma that's happened in your past may be presenting a block towards your progress now as a grown ass man. Could you imagine that?
Yeah, I'm
She
gonna tell you the
Yeah,
truth. Look, let me just say this about women. And
absolutely.
fellas, I can understand this. Women, they always have an agenda. That's why you gotta like take your time. Even when like I would even put the word friend in quotes because you got to see, okay, what's up with this woman? What's she bringing to the table? What's up with her? You got to see what's up. You got to pay attention. Don't just say, oh, she fine or something. Let me just be friends, like I was saying earlier. You
Mhm,
got to be like, all right, what's her angle? What's her agenda? Because even when you like say, I'll use the gym for an example, the women I've met there, I never like pulled up on them right away, no matter what, or tried to be their friends. I always let it just flow.
mhm,
I just let it flow because I would be paying attention who else they talking to, who else they friendly to, what's their agenda. Because every time I meet a woman, I don't care what the situation is, I always know she got an agenda. It's just a question of what her agenda is.
correct.
So you always had to think about that. And trust me, women in general, no matter how good they are, how good a person they are, they're selfish. And that's one of the things some women have told me. They selfish. They about their own need. So
Yes.
you got to be paying attention to that. Like, okay, they being friendly to you. Okay, why they being friendly? They want the hot beef injection, or do they want what's in your wallet,
Right.
or do they want somebody to move their furniture? Whatever. She wants something. It's just a question of what. She could just want you to talk to. Okay, that's cool. Figure that out. Pay attention. Pay attention to her actions. Pay attention to little things. Like just keep quiet. Don't ask her for anything. Don't just hand her your friendship. Make her
Right.
earn it. Make
Right.
her earn it. Right?
Absolutely.
Make
And
her show something. Make her give something first. I'll put it like that. Make her give something. What's she giving? She being friendly. She hooking you up with some candy or something, some food. Hey, one of my best friends in college, she used to work at the campus bookstore. She used to hook me up sometime. So it's like, okay, all right.
right. Right. No, I mean, because like you said, women are naturally selfish, right? They
Mm-hmm.
naturally are on a quest to gather resources, even
Mm-hmm.
if it's subconsciously, so that they can start the nesting process. That's a very natural trait
Yeah.
that women have.
Well, let me add to that. If you think about women, their main thing, I don't care how politically incorrect this might sound, but their main thing is having children.
Yes.
But for them to have it, they have to draw you to them. They have to draw everything to them. Women are magnetic. So
Yeah.
they drawing a man to them for whatever. So it's like, okay, what do you need? In fact, a tantra master said this. If you could put you could put a woman, lock her in a room with a little bit of bread, a little bit of water, and one sperm. 9 months later, she'll have a big old baby, a lot of bread, and a lot of water. She will draw stuff to her.
Hmm.
Like a woman, And I've told women this. I was like, shoot, all you have to do, y'all can just go out on your porch and just cross your legs and you can draw some men to you.
Yes.
Like if a woman doesn't have that magnetism, it's whatever. But part of it is whatever their agenda is. So you always have to remember that. And what cousin Tito was saying earlier about like their rosters, how they putting the men in the what they have them doing. That's very important because trust me, you might not have the feeling of you having a woman for this or that, but they sure as hell do.
Absolutely. And people understand. Listen, when we get Rom going, you know he's going to hit that flow of consciousness and some gems are going to come out. Everybody,
Yeah.
make sure that you like, share, subscribe. If you haven't already purchased your copy of Nice Guys and Players, make sure you do that because
Mm-hmm.
what Ram just mentioned is something that came up in a consultation recently in terms of how women draw things to them, not just resources, not just people, but energy itself. And the number one way that she does that is through her beauty, you see.
Mm-hmm.
And the conversation that I was having with the client was about what her beauty is for. Who is a woman's beauty for was the topic of this conversation in
Mm-hmm.
terms of how a man should approach if he finds a woman that he desires to acquire an exchange of orgasms with, when he is looking at and admiring her beauty. I said this: that moment in which you're drinking in the essence of her beauty,
Mm-hmm.
that moment is yours. That moment is for you, not her.
Mm-hmm.
You are the recipient of that beauty, you see. And when you make the decision to approach her and offer her the opportunity to have an experience with he that is you, you don't lead that introduction with complimenting her beauty. And of course, this is counterintuitive to a lot of men. To the average man, well, why wouldn't you walk up to a woman and just say, excuse me, miss, I couldn't help but admire your beauty? Why wouldn't you say that? It's because the average man is not a player, you see. And one thing that a player excels at, you see, players have a unique set of skills, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the top skill that a player has is putting people in the best position to win.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And part of this dynamic that I broke down as to why a player doesn't lead with complimenting a woman's beauty upon the initial introduction is because when a player approaches a woman for the first time, there is a knowing of the natural position between a man and a woman. You see,
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
natural position for a man, for a masculine man, is that of authority. You see, and authority expresses itself as leadership.
Mm-hmm.
The natural position for a woman is foundation.
Yeah.
And the foundation for anything, the foundation for a home, the foundation for an ecosystem, the foundation
Mm-hmm.
for a vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
expresses itself as the complement of leadership.
Mm-hmm.
That complement is support. You see, so the natural position of a masculine man is authority, and it's expressed by leadership. The natural position of a feminine woman is foundation, and that is expressed via support. So when a player, a Mac or an OG approaches a woman for the first time, Of course, he's admired her beauty. He's drunk
Mm-hmm.
it in, just like he admires a work of art, just like he
Mm-hmm.
admires his favorite cognac,
Mm-hmm.
just like he admires any other thing that stimulates the senses. But he does not lead with the compliment of her beauty.
No, no.
Because, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. I'm gonna bring it home real quick because in order to put her in her natural position, he has to lead with a mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when the player leads with a mission, a feminine woman naturally goes into a position of submission.
There you go. There you go. Boom, boom. I don't have much to add to it other than that woman already knows she's beautiful, but you got to hit her for her other stuff.
Yes.
Like if you meet see that beautiful woman, don't hit her that she's beautiful. Find out, talk to her, find out what she about. I've known some beautiful women and we talked about everything but her beauty. Like look for some clues on her. Like she might be wearing like some message t-shirt. Talk about that. She might be like, I remember meeting this young lady one time. She was wearing some yin and yang earrings. Started talking about that. Don't hit it. They've been here and they've been beautiful since they had puberty. You don't hit them like that, and then they like, oh wow, he cares about my brain. You know, like I always talk about the young lady who really first encouraged my writing. She was all into science fiction, so I ain't never. And she was beautiful. She was beautiful. She in her 50s now and still gorgeous, right? But when we would talk, I never say, "Oh, you're so beautiful." No, no, we would talk about science fiction and stuff like that. And
Right.
see, you got to read that woman. You got to read it, but don't lead with the beauty, as cousin Tito would say. Give her a mission. Give her
Absolutely.
something.
Absolutely.
Tap into it. Tap into what her mind is thinking about. Not just how beautiful it is. Because many guys, and I've actually had some women tell me this. They go on a date with a guy, and the guy be like, "Oh, you're so beautiful." They done heard that. Find out what else she got going on. And that's really some game for just dealing with beautiful women. Period. And then if we talking about can men and women be friends, friend zone, let's see what else she got. She might have that Rolodex. She might know something. She can help you with your mission, you know?
Absolutely. What if this beautiful woman that's sitting at the bar that you've been admiring from across the room
Mm-hmm.
is a classical pianist,
Mm.
right? Would you ever
Mm.
know that? At some point, uh, 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 we'll have people in the audience Google uh, uh, Yuja let's see, J A Wang, Wang. She is one of the top classical pianists, Chinese, and she got that body yaddy yaddy, and she
Mm.
wears short dresses, and it's this is high art, right? And she's scandalized for it, but she's also uh, loved because she is such a high level virtuoso. This is
Mm-hmm.
just an example. Had a person walked over and just said, I couldn't help but walk over because
Mm-hmm.
you're so beautiful."
Mm-hmm.
They run the risk of missing the opportunity to have a
Mm.
conversation and to get an in-depth sort of acquaintance with a living genius, right?
Yeah. But if they walk over and say, that was a beautiful piece you played, I guarantee her eyes will be like, oh, oh, oh. She be shining her eyes, she be smiling, everything. And see, I'm gonna tell you what, let's just give some game right there.
Right.
If you're dealing with beautiful women, it was like somebody said in the comments, hit them at their brain, find out what else is up with them. Because trust me, I've known several beautiful women, and It was never about their beauty. I mean, I've argued politics with some beautiful women, talk science fiction with them, whatever. Find out, just talk with them. They already, first of all, they already, if you even come near and they already assume you find them beautiful, they're used to that. Find out what else is going on with them if you talking with them.
Correct.
Then
Absolutely.
that's it. And then really too, if we talk about can men and women be friends, there's some beautiful women who I friend zoned
Yes.
because they will bring in something else to the table. Is see, here's the thing. If you're gonna be play out here, you don't have to stroke every single woman. You don't have to stroke her. You don't need to. You don't really have time to. All you need is a few you can stroke. But what else are they bringing? What else are they bringing? Because I'll just say for myself, I'm dealing with maybe a few women. They on my roster, but it's not a lot.
Hmm.
But all of them can bring something. All of them can bring something. One's a high powered attorney. One's a minister. I'll leave it at that.
There you go.
But they can bring something. Find out what's up. Find out what's up with them.
And
Don't deal with the woman. Look, just don't get in that friend zone where you just trying to get with that woman and she really ain't trying to get with you. Cause you get some women, once again, that agenda thing. She's like, well, okay, he gonna take me out, he gonna do all this stuff for me. I'm gonna keep this up.
yes.
I'm gonna keep this up because I never forget when I was working with this one woman and she had this guy always giving her money. And me and this other guy on the job said to her, "Say, why don't you give him some just to switch things up?" And she said, "If she said she looked at us and said, if I did that, he wouldn't give me money anymore." I,
Oh, goodness,
I,
goodness.
I was like, man, we both looked at it and said, "You going to hell for that?" And we were only half joking. We were
No,
only half joking because she know what's up. See, understand something. If a man and a woman, if you dealing with that woman in your group, your friend group, your knowledge group, what is she doing? I don't care how beautiful. I don't care how beautiful she is, how fine. Don't make the beauty the main thing. Beauty is well, one, if you get to our level, beauty ain't nothing. We always can run at beauty. Shoot, a
yes,
couple of weeks ago, and you know the young lady. I'll just
yeah,
say somebody from Chicago. She gave me a
absolutely.
call a few weeks ago, cousin T told. She was like, you just been on my mind lately. You've been on my heart.
I'm sure.
Lord have mercy. We must stay
Yeah,
focused, brothers. We must stay
yeah,
focused.
yeah. But it's a situation like if we ain't in the same space, it's cool. It's cool. We cool with each other, right?
Absolutely. Shout out to Charles Faulkner. You get the ASP Holy Ghost. Shout out to you. Says, woo, what's up, everyone? Prepare for my arrival. Woo, everyone's favorite cousin. Hashtag body game. Shout out to Ron Wills. Officer Faulkner, he says, when you deal with beautiful women, you treat them like normal people. You go and you pick apart their brain. Absolutely. Well said.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Absolutely.
And see, it's not
Absolutely.
always a see. Here's a problem, because we talking about can men and women be friends. You don't have to stroke them or chase them or be at her beck and call. Because I knew this beautiful woman, lipstick lesbian, right? And I mentioned her. I mentioned her a few times, but she had guys just doing whatever because they were so enamored by her beauty. Me and
Yes.
her were just cool though. Me and her were real cool because I was real cool with her sister, but unfortunately, she unalived herself. That's a bad story. But her
Okay.
sister worked at this particular restaurant. Her sister used to hook me and my sons up.
Mm-hmm.
She used to hook me and my sons up. Get great service, knew what we wanted, took care of us. She took care of us. So
Right.
it's not all and very beautiful, but it's not always about just chasing a woman and getting it. See, a lot of guys, they just want that beautiful woman. She fine, and they just chasing her or they want to impress her. It's like, hold up, what else does she got? What else can she do? Who does she know? What kind of Rolodex does she have? Shout out Master Teacher BGS. what else can she do? It's like, hold up, that woman is in your life. See, one of the things you want to do listening to us is you want to get to the point a woman is always serving a purpose.
Right.
Now, does that purpose always have to be you just talking on the phone or something like that? But she doing something. She giving you some ideas. She might be telling you about parties. Like I remember this one beautiful woman. Oh man, she knew where like the high class parties were, and I got cool with her. But then she married some other dude. I got real cool with him. He said, "Hey, you need something? Just call me up." I was like, oh, "Okay."
Right.
You gotta look at that, right?
No, absolutely. And you just, of course, you touched on a very important, another important aspect of this conversation. When we are talking about whether or not men and women can be friends, we have to appreciate what men do. Okay. And women do it, but they do it in their own way. Depending on the type of men's group that gets together or the type of men who consider themselves as friends, the the way that we seek friends is we masculinize, right?
Hmm.
If there is a space that we find ourselves, whether it be at work, whether it be at a space of worship, whether it be on the basketball court, golf course, tennis court, or whatever, we masculinize, the space, make it man friendly, so to
Hmm.
speak. Women do the same thing in their
Hmm.
spaces. They feminize spaces.
Hmm.
So in order for a man and a woman to truly be friends, the man has to be secure in his masculinity.
Hmm.
Otherwise, he is exposing himself to be subject to feminization,
Hmm.
especially if he calls himself uh, allowing himself to be around her friends group, right?
Hmm.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine a player, a true player, a Mac or OG, going on a woman's trip with
Hmm.
his female friend and her friends group? Of course you
Hmm.
can't. I can't imagine that either.
Mm-mm.
If he did that, it would be a solo trip that happened to be in the same place as these other women, because he knows that there is a feminization, agenda that would
Hmm.
take place. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Nah, go ahead, man. Just go ahead. I ain't had nothing for that, man. But
No,
no, you right. I'm just agreeing with you, man.
no.
No, because he
Mhm.
really can't. Because especially they go on those girl trips or something. You know they looking for my Bahamian cousin Dexter St. Jack. You know they doing that shit. They looking for that hot beef injection on the island or wherever they going. So that dude
Absolutely.
coming along with him, what's the point? It's better that you just happen to be in that same area or something. You going on that solo trip, you doing your thing, but you might have to like look the other way when they find that young boy that they want to get with or whatever they doing. Cause
Rom,
they trying to do their thing, and you gotta be
fine.
cool with it. You can't be blocking them or something
Eh,
because they just trying to do their thing, no questions asked. They don't want you to say anything, and then they going back to their husbands, boyfriends, or whatever, or back to their more vanilla life. They coming out the shadow world. You got to be quiet and see if they even have you around. That mean they trust you. But like you said earlier, they might be more feminizing you. You just one of the girls. You don't want to be
right,
that. You
right.
don't want to be that. If you have them that close and they going on a girls trip. Now, if you close to them and they just hanging out, y'all just hanging out, y'all friends like that. That's one thing. But you with a bunch of women And I don't care. You anytime they say girls trip, they going to get some. Let me just put it to y'all like that. So if y'all got a girlfriend or something, y'all got a girlfriend or a wife or something, she said, well, we just going down to the islands.
Yeah.
And yeah, y'all just
We'll
going
be
to the
innocent,
islands just
man.
with a friend. Oh yeah, we just having a good
Yeah.
time.
That's
And then that
rest and relaxation.
guy
R&R.
down there, Dexter,
Mhm.
Dexter St. Jackson. Yeah, they tell you that, but trust me, that shoot. You go to the islands, that's part of the economy and stuff. They getting those women as soon as they come off the plane. Shoot,
Absolutely.
they in a cab or some the cab driver trying to hook them up with somebody. Shoot,
Well, Ron, you
shoot.
bring up a very important part of the conversation, and that's why we have these conversations in these spaces to help
Mm-hmm.
deconstruct that false reality that
Mm-hmm.
most men have woven for them by the women in their lives since birth.
Mm-hmm.
When men are listening to these conversations in this particular space,
Mm-hmm.
where you have an OG player and you have a former exotic entertainer who have been the destination of the girls' trip. Let me say that again. Let me say that again, nice and slowly for those in the back. This may be your first time. Welcome, welcome in. Have a seat. Pull up a chair. Grab a drink. Hit the like button. Share. Subscribe. Holla at the Cash App down below that's scrolling at the bottom of your
Oh
screen.
yeah. Send and I gotta feed my sons and stuff. Yeah. Y'all
Absolutely.
show me some love, man. Y'all show me some love, man. I appreciate it, man.
But let's be clear about what's happening here. Okay. When women go on girls' trips, it is to get relaxation, recuperation, to recharge their batteries, right? And
Mm,
to run up on some soul pole. Listen. First of all,
mm,
your cousin has been the destination for girls' trips. Let me be honest. Working at different clubs and for
mm,
different private events, women come in from out of town. It's a bridal
mm,
shower. It's a birthday party.
mm,
It's a divorce party, right?
mm,
It's a college graduation. It's a PhD party, right?
mhm,
It's a sorority party on the limo bus.
mhm.
These stories are all over on the Patreon side. So go ahead and holler at that. The link is in the description. But let's be honest, Ron. Like we say, women give intimacy like a handshake. Okay.
Mhm.
And I had to let that sit for a moment for those who are in the back. Welcome. Come on in. Women have sex, give intimacy like it is a handshake.
Mhm.
I know that that's challenging for a lot of
Mhm.
men to wrestle with, to sit with, to receive, and to process
Mhm.
because a lot of men believe they have been led to believe, and especially by female friends. And this is an indictment. Okay,
Mhm.
I have to go after the female friend with this one.
Go
Okay,
ahead, go ahead, man. You gotta do it, man.
part of the role of a friend is one of revelation.
Mhm.
You are supposed to be the voice of truth.
Mhm.
You are supposed to be the voice of wisdom. You are supposed to
Mhm.
be the informant, especially if you have access to spaces and circles that your friend does not, you see.
Mhm.
And when we talk about whether or not men and women can be friends, I have to say true friends.
Mhm.
One of the things that gets left out in the conversations in these spaces is the fact that most women,
Mhm.
99.9% of women,
Mhm.
are going to uphold the female code.
Yes. Yeah, they will. They will. And I'm gonna tell you what, they'll do it Only way you could, if you somebody like me, I know how to get women comfortable. They be telling me some shit, but I gotta really, honestly, I've had women, several different classes, races, saying, "Yeah, we'll tell you that you can handle it, but we ain't telling the rest of them that." I mean, trust me, y'all be surprised how many women have told me some stuff and say, "Hey, this ain't gonna be on video. You ain't gonna call my name, are you?" You know, seriously. They what cousin T-Tar just told you, you need to replay that and think about what he just said. They have their own world, they have their own language, whatever. In fact, what you say about the shadow world, you say that's just the interface to the female world.
That's it. I think somebody had asked that question. How do you? Here you go. What's the best way to enter the shadow world?
They gotta invite you, bro.
That's it. That's it.
Trust me, you
That's it.
can be there, but trust me, the only way you get in, women have to invite you. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. They
That's
got to
it.
invite you, like, like to those parties or whatever they doing. Trust me, you can't just walk around and say, "Hey, I want to be in the shadow world." They're gonna be like, "What are you talking about?"
Correct.
It'd be some woman who had voluntary trains ran on her and she actually so innocent around you talking about some shadow world or something.
Listen.
It don't work that way. You gotta develop yourself.
Yes.
You gotta develop your body. You gotta look like somebody who not only can stroke the fuck out of them, but somebody
Discreet.
who's gonna be discreet. Yeah, that's the word. That's why I don't really share. That's why I don't really share much online about any women I'm dealing with. Because every now and then I get some guy, "Hey, show us what?" No, fuck that. No, no,
Listen.
because
Listen.
these women, it's enough. It's like every now and then I show a picture of her. She don't mind, but for the most part, they like, nah, don't show me. I don't want to be on here. Nah, nah,
Listen.
don't be doing that.
Ron, we may have to discuss putting together a Patreon exclusive live stream
Hmm.
discussing the shadow world.
Hmm.
Maybe we would have to really discuss it. Obviously, it would have to be for the higher levels of Patreon. But
Yeah.
the sexual shadow world is so powerful. It is
Hmm.
so exclusive. It is so dynamic
Hmm.
that what we can say, in harmony with what Ram has already disclosed, you cannot enter the shadow world.
Nah.
You
You got
have
in.
to be invited.
They're gonna invite you in. That's the only way. That's
And
the only
this is
way.
because women run the sexual shadow world.
Yeah. And trust me, most guys don't have a chance. So they could check out a guy for a long time, but then they might be like, "Oh yeah, why don't you we having this party, why don't you show up?" And then all of a sudden these women walking around with their breasts are hanging all out or something and they want to get down. They want to see what's up. They want to make sure. They might test you. They might test you a little bit. They might say something sexual around you just to see it. Cause see, a lot of dudes are hung up on their own sex or something, or be thinking these women don't want to get down. Like cousin T-Tar said, that's like a handshake for them. But see, a lot of guys can't handle that. You got to be able to handle that. They checking that because the main women be getting in the shadow world. They some women who, if you see them publicly, you be thinking they that goody girl or something. Don't be having sex or something.
Mm-mm.
So
Mm-mm.
they be chilling, or some of these women be at some of those parties. I remember I was at this one party, right?
Mhm.
Some women I wouldn't think would even give me the time of day publicly. They ain't look like it, but I'm like one's on all fours while I'm grinding her, and the other one's rubbing her breastises up on my back.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
we'll keep that quiet.
Listen, and shout out to Officer Faulkner. He says the one thing about the shadow world, The shadow world is ran by women, and they love men who can shut their mouth and point.
Exactly.
We're
There
talking
you
to
go.
A police officer here, okay? We're,
They
we're, we're
that's what you got to do. You got to be quiet because I remember there was one woman who wanted to get with me, and she was a Facebook friend, and she said she was looking at some of the stuff some people were saying. So I was like, I had to change some on my Facebook so average people couldn't like just comment on my page. Cause I said, damn, that fucked me up. Cause her first thing was, okay, I don't know if he can be quiet or something, you
yes,
know?
and it is so subtle. Here's the thing. Here's a big reason why we can't discuss the shadow world publicly and so openly. The dynamics that exist in the shadow world are so powerful and so fundamental to um, the the framework of society
Hmm.
that if most men or even the average man were made privy to the dynamics that exist within the shadow world, it would start to collapse the vanilla world.
Oh, ooh, ooh,
It
ooh.
will start
That's true.
to
That's
shake
true.
the actual world to its core.
Yeah.
And this is why we're very careful with the conversations that we have around the sexual shadow world,
Yeah.
because what did James Brown say? This is a man's world, right?
Hmm.
But it
Yeah.
wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl. You
Nah.
see? Look. Shout out to Tristan.
Nah, that's hey, look, that's some real talk.
Say
That's some
chill.
real talk. And I mean, we need to get back on that men and women are friends things. But I'll just say this about the shadow world. Cousin Tita is totally correct. Women run it, and when you look at that world, then you look at what a lot of men think vanilla wise. I mean, you still got men out here don't understand a woman's sexual nature.
Absolutely.
They still don't get it. You
Most.
still get like I'll use the example body count. You worried about a woman, you got some guys, a woman might have said publicly she been with 5 men, and some guys that's scandalous. That's vanilla right there because at some of those parties, shoot, they might have about they might have sex with about 20 men or something,
Easy.
you know?
And so salute to Tristan Fitness. As a personal trainer, he knows about the shadow world. All right.
Oh man,
He's a personal
trainers.
trainer at a gym. All right.
Trainers, man. I'm gonna tell
Married
you
women.
what. If yeah,
Mhm.
if you got a girl and she got a personal trainer at the gym, double back home one day. Nah, not even double back home. Go see her at the gym. Go wait up or something. Trust me.
Listen. That yes, okay, yes. Keep letting them know the surface stuff. All right, keep letting them know,
Hmm.
because Rom and I appreciate how much you're holding back here, because,
Hmm.
because let's be honest, if we were to disclose some of the methods that women employ in order to get what they want to get out of the shadow world, it would
Hmm.
be crazy.
Hmm.
I'm gonna just give a couple examples, all right? And we got to get back. We're gonna get back to the
All
subject
right,
at hand.
go
Can,
go ahead,
can
go
men
ahead.
and women be friends? Quick example. You know how much a flight from New York to Baltimore costs? Midday, midweek,
Mm.
right?
Hmm.
Low budget airline pond skippers. If people who take flights regularly know what I'm referring to. Okay, those value airfares. You can grab, depending on the time of year and the conditions, midday, which is off peak. You can grab a round trip ticket. Okay, 2, 3, 4 states over for less than the cost of a date that a nice guy will pay for a woman. For less than the cost of the flowers that a nice guy or good guy will spend on the woman for a date. That same woman will grab a round trip ticket from her state of origin, be at a hotel in the second state, getting what she got to get,
With all that movement back there.
getting it done to her, back on the plane and back in the state of origin before the kids get out of school.
Hey, a woman told me about that. I'll just leave it at that. A woman told me about that. She could leave in the morning. She could fix her husband like breakfast or something, leave, go to another city, get her thing off, and then be back home in time to fix his dinner.
Listen, Rom, and I okay, for my Patreon subscribers, I will share this story on the Patreon side, but
Man, it is something. And I'm gonna just say though, I'll just say this. I'll say this. It's a different mindset. You can see if you see a woman in the vanilla world, she's gonna behave a certain way. Shadow world, totally different. And you gotta be cool with it. You can't attach anything to how she behaving. Because in the shadow world, that's when you really see who she is.
yes,
That's
the
how,
animal.
and that's how I know a lot of what I talk about. Because the women say, "Oh, okay, Rom gonna be cool." Because even just some women who've been there just telling me some things, they know I'm gonna be cool. Because I don't judge. I'd be like, they could say they slept with 1,000 men, and I'll be like, "Yeah, you gonna eat that donut right there?" Seriously, I don't trip. I don't add anything to it. And see, I'll put it like this. Let's just say this, and then get back to our main conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You attach anything to it, anything bad to it, anything bad to having sex with a woman or a woman having sex, you ain't getting in the shadow world. Don't think you getting there. All right. I'm just gonna
Not
put
even
it that
close.
way.
And let's be honest, Ron, we've allowed some of the information about the shadow world to slip out. Everybody, make sure that you participate by liking the stream, sharing,
Yeah.
subscribing. Holler at Rom's Cash App and Patreon, scrolling down below. If we've got a little time left before we wrap this up. If you want a little bit more, just a little bit more, send it in the form of a donation, the super chat, and we may entertain a little bit more about the shadow world. Yeah, mogul philosopher, run clubs.
Man, I'm gonna tell you
Not to
something
mention.
now. I'm gonna tell you something now. Just I mean, and this kind of like gets back into the whole can men and women be friends?
Mm-hmm.
If you can just be cool, learn how to be cool. Because I'm gonna tell you something with women. They will test you. They will test you like you around it. They'll throw out something sexual just to see your reaction. If you throw out anything negative about a woman's sexuality or something, they'll agree with you, but deep down give up being in the shadow world or whatever, or her telling you anything. Because trust me, you deal with these women out here, they done did something. They done did something they ain't gonna talk about. And I don't care who you deal with, if with a woman, if they'll tell you like, oh yeah, they've been with 5 men or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But those are men they've been in relationships with, but they ain't gonna tell you the guy that they hooked up with behind like the 7-Eleven or
Right.
at the party in the bathroom. Wait, excuse me, bathroom.
Absolutely.
They ain't gonna tell you all of that, but they'll test you. They'll say something. They say, "Oh yeah, this girl, she did that," and you should be like, if you like one of those people, like, nah, she all slutty, all doing all that, and she really talking about herself. She just seeing how you responding to it. See, if a woman says whatever about sex, period, she really testing you to see how far she can go with you. Even
Yeah,
on a friendship basis, she want to see how you respond to it. Like I said, I've had women tell me some stuff, and I even asked some women, I said, why you tell me it? Because you can handle it. I ain't tripping. I really do be like, you gonna eat that donut right there? Okay, good. You did all that.
absolutely. And let's be clear. I'm gonna be honest. The women who I consider friends um, have to qualify for the ride or die level of my roster,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that we are comfortable enough for casual intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there are women all over the country, and I guess in other countries, who have that rank of ride or die. Who, I try to send out a yearly holiday card or season's greeting card for the for whoever wants to receive it, however they receive it. I sent out a holiday card, and I have a list of ride or dies that send out a card for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how they know. Those are the women who, if I am traveling into a different state, I can rely on them for,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just if I want to, uh, shelter, food, accommodations, entertainment, you know, exchange of orgasms, just a regular, rest and relaxation, right, Ron?
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be as casual, comfortable. We'll catch up on each other's families. It'll just be, now that is how I define a friendship
Mm-hmm.
between a man and a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding those dynamics, and if they're entertaining a relationship, whatever type of relationship dynamic, I am invisible. I am Mr. Invisible. I am out the way. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
blowing up a phone. I'm not, and the same thing, vice versa. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
entertaining a relationship dynamic at whatever level, she's
Mm-hmm.
respectful of that. She's out the way. She's not
Mm-hmm.
allowing emotions and hormones to cloud her reasoning and her thought process, because the friendship, and this is the key here, right? This is the key here. Everybody, make sure that you hit the like button and subscribe. Forward this conversation to someone that you know can benefit from this ism. The point
Mm-hmm.
of this, the point of this is the same point that's transferable to standard relationships between men and women. When we talk about the ride or die, when we talk about the first lady,
Mm-hmm.
the highest level of relationship for a man with a roster, even
Mm-hmm.
when we talk about a man and his wife or his wives, um, this particular dynamic is essential when um, talking about what is the true value, right? What is the most valuable asset
Mm-hmm.
that two people can have with each other? That is the
Mm-hmm.
relationship. The
Mm-hmm.
relationship is
Mm-hmm.
the most valuable asset, because it is what is going to pay out the greatest dividend. It's going to contain the space of growth. It's going to contain the space of purity. Remember, you and I had the conversation about the space of purity. Not
Mm-hmm.
everybody is worthy of that, you see. And unfortunately, a lot of men who have gotten married, right?
Mm-hmm.
Settled, let me be honest. A lot of men who have settled down. You see how that sounds foolish in the space
Mm-hmm.
like this? Settling down versus choosing up, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of men, unfortunately, who have settled down, they settle down with the type of woman who is unworthy of his space of purity. And
Mm-hmm.
so the value that is supposed to be the relationship is supposed to be the most valuable thing. Just like your relationship with yourself is the most valuable thing. Your relationship with the most high frequency in the universe, is the most valuable thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say that a woman's beauty is for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? She can use it as currency, she can use it as whatever. But when
Mm-hmm.
you're approaching her, you do not want to give away uh, the value. You're not trying to project onto that woman so that you can receive some type of validation. When you approach
Mm-hmm.
that woman, you are pointing out a point of interest so that she can start to engage, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the point of this entire conversation: can men and women be friends?
Mm-hmm.
This is really a conversation about, can men and women value each other outside of sex?
Yeah. And I would answer that. I would say, yeah, if you're talking business, because like I said, I've dealt with some very beautiful women, but they've put some money in my pocket,
Mm-hmm.
or they've given me some information, or they would tell me something. Indeed, I've had some beautiful women that I would legitimately say we were friends. They would
Mm-hmm.
tell me some real stuff. They would help me out. But whatever the case, it was always, always, always they were bringing something to me. And that's the important thing. That's the important thing. It was mutually beneficial. It was never a case of chasing some woman down who wasn't interested, because you get some guys, they'll want that woman so bad, but she'll put them in the friend zone, right? But they'll still try to change her mind or something. It's like, man, please. If a woman ever said that to me, oh, let's just be friends, I'd be like, okay. Well, I've been checking out your friend over here who got that fat booty. What can I
Was
do?
all that movement back there?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I be shoot. I be like, shoot, I be using it. And see, here's something I talked about before. Like, say, okay, you interested in a woman. She put you in a friend zone. Ask her what you need to do to get these other women. But see,
Right.
here's a trick. Here's a little trick. If she tell you what you need to do and you actually do it, all of a sudden she start looking at you a little different. And she be like, I'm rethinking this friend thing. You know, I'm
Yes.
rethinking this friend thing, because what she gonna automatically do is tell you what she really like, right?
Right.
But see, even then, don't do that in a way of trying to get with her anyway. You really trying to get her fat booty friend. Cause I remember I was dealing with this one woman and stuff, and this my dirty macking days when I was younger, right? But she had a fine ass daughter, so I was like, oh, okay, cause she had a man, so I was like, oh, okay. I'm checking out her daughter, but she was blocking. No, she didn't want me getting with her daughter. I was like, man, please. I really was checking out her daughter. I was like, hey, okay, so what's up with your daughter? I really was checking her out. But just don't be in a situation where you putting that woman on a pedestal. That's what it really come down to. That ain't your friend. That she really ain't your friend anyway. If that's she just having you chase her around, do stuff for, drive her around and do all that, knowing she ain't gonna give you no paws or the poo.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing she ain't doing that. Don't do that. Have more self-respect for yourself.
Right.
Like, if you're a friend, just say, okay, what's she doing? What's she bringing to me? How much money she putting in my pocket? What information she telling me? Um, is she like she pointing out some stuff to me? Because I've had some I wouldn't even call them friends, female acquaintances. They would give me the 411 on like some other women or something. But then there was one who did that. I found out she was trying to get with me, but she had an unfortunate face and the body of a water buffalo, so that
Yeah.
didn't happen. That
Yeah.
ain't happened, but I wouldn't
No,
even
not at
call
all.
her a friend, but just an acquaintance,
Right.
you know?
Here's a question. I mean, if you want to answer this, it's up to you, Ron. Question:
It,
is
it,
there
it, it
respect?
depends. It depends. It's like Offner Faulkner said. There is to some men, but it depends on the situation.
Well, let me read the
because
question. I'm gonna read the question for those who are not watching the video and they can't see it. Let's see. Deb asked the question: is there respect from women in the shadow world, or does it not matter?
yeah, I mean, it does matter, but it depends because the one thing with the shadow world is a woman's free. Okay. If you let the woman be free and you can be quiet, she can show you respect. How about that? It's just that simple.
Y- Yes. And of course, this has to do with the lack of knowledge of the shadow world by, again, 99.9% of men. And what guys need to realize
Hmm.
is that take your most exciting experience. Anything. Guys have hobbies all over the place. Going to a cosplay event, right? Going to a Comic Con, the excitement of opening a fresh comic book, right, Ron?
Hmm.
For some guys, it's driving that Dodge Demon, that Scat Pack,
Hmm.
down the open road at 130, 40, 50 miles an hour on the stretch of highway that is unpatrolled by law enforcement, right? Some guys, part of the ultimate thrill is to jump out of a plane, and go parachuting. Some guys have an ultimate rush from parasailing or, um, you know, being out on the water fishing, right? Take all of those experiences, put them together: the rush, the approach, the anticipation, the execution, the follow through, the memories, the ability to reflect on those things, and then multiply that times 100. And then you have a small understanding of what women get from the shadow world.
Yeah.
Just a small percentage of what women receive from the activities that they engage in within the shadow world, because it is a call to the primal aspect of their humanity. You see,
Hmm.
another conversation that I was having with a consulting client was, when you're on the path of self discovery, like if someone were to ask you, "Who are you?" Right?
Hmm.
I forgot the reference, because I have my own way of measuring and approaching the answer to this question.
Hmm.
But someone put it very succinctly: there are three major aspects to who you are when answering this question of who are you. You've got the animal, right?
Hmm.
Your human avatar. You've got the ego, right? How you present
Hmm.
personally and publicly. And you've got the spiritual aspect of who you are, right? When we talk about engaging in shadow world activities, that
Hmm.
animal is brought to the forefront. Now you've got the ego that's crafted by the social landscape and by public opinion and judgment externally. You've got the spirit that runs through, right? That ASP Holy Ghost is very active in the shadow world.
Hmm.
But above all things, the shadow world is a space that allows women to experience levels of fantasy, levels
Hmm.
of engagement, levels of excitement that just can't be duplicated by going on a date
No, no,
at
no.
a $300 steakhouse.
No, no, it's not the same. It really is a vanilla world. You know what, cousin Tito, you been a whole lot nicer than me, man. I was just trying to keep stuff simple. You breaking it down.
Oh,
See,
come on. That's
understand. Well, understand something. Understand something about the shadow world. Well, understand something. We're in a vanilla world. This world
yes.
is very vanilla, and if you listen to even some comments, I mean, look, I'm just gotta be real because I'm checking out some of the comments. Some of these guys really don't understand it. The shadow world basically just in a sentence is where women could truly be free. They
Yes.
ain't free sexually in this world. You know, they got to hold back with some men. They can't, you know, they can't tell like this man, oh yeah, I like this position or this position. They hold back with a lot of men. And it's even deeper than them cheating on a particular man because that put you know, they could cheat on a man, but they still not really in the shadow world.
No.
Now, the best way to understand the shadow world is that one word, freedom. They can be free. They can be free. They not judge. They can be a freak. They can, you know, they can do whatever. And they can have that primal man that they want to be with. That's something else too. They can be with the type of man that they want to be with. Not with that man just because their social class say you gotta be with this man, or you know, that church say you gotta be with this church guy. That's
Right.
all you have to do. That's all you have to do is think about the shadow world. Freedom. Just use that word, okay? That's all you need.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And for those who have your copy of the seduction scriptures, of course, uh, simply go over to page 121. This is where I answer the question, what do women want?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What do women want? A lot of books have been written to try to approach that.
Mm-hmm.
And quiet as it is kept, most vanilla spaces
Mm-hmm.
simply write it off as an
Mm-hmm.
impossibility to understand. Who could
Yeah.
know? What man could ever know? Women don't even know what they want. That's not true.
No, they know exactly what they want. I've been saying that they know exactly what they want. They just ain't gonna share it with the overwhelming majority of men. They know
Correct.
exactly. Every woman know exactly what they want. They know what they want in a man, but because of circumstances, they can't always share that. And plus, they know they get judged for in the vanilla world. They get judged for every act of sex, everything they say. That's why they very careful what they say, what they want to do, how they really want to get down.
Yes.
Yes, Charles
And,
Faulkner, Officer Faulkner said it best: freedom without judgmental circumstances and consequences. That's all you
and
need to know. That's all you need to know. So if you got the slightest judgment on them, and they will test you, they will test you. Officer Faulkner said that earlier in a comment. They will test you. They will test you. They will throw out something to see your reaction. And trust me, women paying attention to all your reaction. They look, and not even just what you say out your mouth. They looking at your facial features, your body language, everything. They want to figure that out. That's why I say you can't just jump into the shadow world. And somebody had written earlier about like checking out like some different websites. No, no, trust me. These women keep that shit dark. They will go to their deathbed and stuff. They will go
yes,
to their deathbed. They will not share it. Cause you got women out here, they doing some stuff, and they'll tell somebody like, and the only reason they'll tell me, I don't judge them. I don't judge them. Let's just say, without realizing, I grew up around some shadow world when I was young. Grew up around some women doing whatever, and I just didn't judge them. It was like they just doing their thing. It was like
absolutely.
whatever.
And let's be clear about what we're talking about. Real quick, as we wrap this up, just because women want freedom,
Mm-hmm.
free of, they want to be free of judgment, so that they can be able to express their primal uh, urges, desires, and fantasies.
Mm-hmm.
They also want, and they require the space to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh
in
yeah.
order to have the space to do so, they need a man capable of creating that space. You see,
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
that is the part that gets missed because in order for anyone, but in particular, we're talking about women, to express a degree of freedom,
Mm-hmm.
there has to be a way to contain that freeness,
Mm-hmm.
right? A space of destination. And that is going to be the topic of conversation for another live stream. That's its
Mm-hmm.
own conversation in and of itself. When we talk about being a friend to
Mm-hmm.
someone of the opposite sex, when
Mm-hmm.
we talk about what it means to be a friend, a confidant,
Mm-hmm.
a trustworthy advocate,
Mm-hmm.
someone who can be relied upon, someone who can be depended upon, someone who brings out the true you,
Mm-hmm.
someone who is thoughtful, mindful, and careful with your space of purity.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who sees you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And can call you out when you've strayed from the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who can hold you accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who can call you back to you, your mission, your purpose. That is a true friend.
Mm-hmm.
And and for everybody who's listening now and who will be listening in the repost, these are very, very difficult conversations that we're having for those who have chosen or settled for someone who is not a true friend. You could be living with, you could be legally bound to someone who is not a true friend.
Oh man. That could be a whole other thing. You know, it's like this elder play I mentioned earlier would say, you might not have a woman if that might not be your woman. You living in the same house, but that's still not your woman.
Right.
Sleeping
Yeah.
in the same bed, but that's not your woman.
Right.
That's how deep it gets. It gets it. And especially if we're talking about, since we brought the shadow world into this conversation, those living in the vanilla world, it's scary. It's scary how many men are just clueless out here. It's scary. It really is.
Yes.
And
And
we be trying to give them. I try to give them some stuff, and you know I be holding back, but I still try to throw out some stuff. You be giving them some stuff, and some dudes still don't want to get it. They still thinking this, and they thinking if a woman even, like I said, if a woman even hint at something, these guys judging, and woman's like agreeing with it, it's like, okay, he ain't coming to the party. He ain't doing it, you know?
right. And we have to keep in mind what's the most valuable part in this dynamic. Finding someone who you have true alignment with.
Mm-hmm.
And really what I hope, what I can say that we hope the people who listen to these conversations can derive and to take back as a point of reflection is that a lot of relationships are under false pretenses. A
Oh
lot of
yeah.
friendships exist uh, as an exploitative relationship dynamic. Somebody's
Mm-hmm.
getting something from the other instead of
Mm-hmm.
pouring into each other via
Yeah,
the relationship.
exactly. Yeah,
Relationship is
exactly.
supposed to be a vehicle for uh, honor, trust,
Mm-hmm.
respect, growth, evolution, progression, expansion in
Mm-hmm.
terms of friend groups, extended families, the kindred spirits, right? If we want to go there to the spiritual aspect of it, the
Mm-hmm.
the absolute truth of the human experience is the communion of kindred spirits. right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, in order to really be able to say that someone is a friend, especially when you're talking about someone of the opposite sex, these are the questions that you have to ask. These are the conversations that are necessary to get at the core of whatever it is the dynamic uh, you are entertaining is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it just somebody to go out on a night of the town on a night on the town and look nice paired up with?
Mm-hmm.
Is this somebody who you enjoy being flued out with? Is this
Mm-hmm.
somebody who is a part of your faith-based walk that
Mm-hmm.
you can lean on in those spaces? Show up uh, to the events on the cultural calendar, like the Easter festival, to other ceremonies. Make
Mm-hmm.
that known. Use the power of your mouthpiece that we're talking about, because the mouthpiece is basically the way in which a man who is in his player position communicates intent. And the
Mm-hmm.
sharper your mouthpiece, the more exacting and effective you are at communicating your intentions. And if you intend on having a female friend, a woman who is a confidant, a woman who can tell you the truth about what other women are saying, a woman who can decode the language of other women, a woman who can put you in positions to win in certain spaces and in certain aspects, who can grow your mission. That is a friend. That
Mm-hmm.
is the value. That's the point, right? That's the North Star of maintaining a friendship, a true relationship dynamic with a woman. Here, here's a question, Joe Blast. What do you say? Question, Ram and T. Why don't you give a fuck about the body count? Well, I'll answer this first. The first thing is this: you'll never know what that truly is. Second thing is, how is that going to impact what you're getting out of a dynamic? And I know that you have to approach this from a realist perspective,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that will eventually be the subject of its own conversation when we talk about not caring about a woman's body count, right?
Yeah.
Is she disease riddled? Does she have multiple kids?
Mm-hmm.
You know, uh, is she barren? Like, has the results of her actions become a detriment to her health, and does it impact the prospective health of someone who she's seeking to be intimate with? Those are the
Yeah.
those are the factors that matter. So when and I'll put this back on you, Joe Blast. When you think about why that question doesn't matter to men like us, reform those reform that question to include the impact, right?
Yeah.
Because the impact can happen with one partner. You can get a house in Virginia, as they like to say, HIV, from one partner. So what's the difference between that and 100? Go ahead, Ron.
No, I was going to say exactly, man, because I'm going to tell you what, man. Whether that, first of all, you don't know what she can lie to you blatantly. She can lie to you blatantly. And say the woman got with one man, but that man is like a ghost. She's still thinking about it. She still want to get with that man. That man, as soon as you walk out the door at 9 o'clock, that man hopping over the fence at 9:15. You need to be more concerned about that. See, a woman could get with maybe she can get with maybe 50 men, but that don't what that really mean. Because usually guys thinking about it, let's think about why they really thinking about it. They worried about, is this woman going to satisfy him, or they really thinking about it. Okay, maybe this man was better in bed or something. It's like, nah, you just worry about if that woman right there in front of you, what's she doing right there? All right, that's all that matters. It's like whatever. How many? I ain't even trying to bond with her, and even then, that woman can still bond despite what people think. She can still bond if that's what you want. If that's what you want. If that's the type of woman you want to get with. But here's the thing. Bottom line is you don't know. So why think about it? You don't know. She either going to tell you the truth, you might not like it, or she going to lie to you, and then you find out the hard way she lied to you. So don't worry about it, whatever. Don't worry
Correct.
about it. Is she good right there? Y'all having good sex. I remember I had said something with this it was a Japanese woman. And it was good in bed. I was like, damn, that was good in bed. And I actually asked her, I said, you've been with some guys, haven't you? She was like, more than 10. And we left it at that. It was still some good pussy. It was that good. So I said,
Mhm.
okay, yeah. Because that's all you worry. That's all I'm concerned with. How she treat me right there on the spot.
Right.
Because you never really gonna know.
Right.
Trust me. That's one thing. Women, I don't care who the woman is. Very few women are going to be totally honest. Very few. There's always going to be somebody they ain't going to tell you about. You know?
Yes. Your primary concern is her health
Yeah.
and then compatibility.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You worried about, okay, how she treating you? What's she doing? Because I knew this player, and this dude had probably, he said he had been, when I saw him, when I knew him, he said he'd been with 800 women. I
Hmm.
never forget what he said. He said he would rather get with a woman who's been with 30 men than one that's been with two. And the reason why he said that was that woman who's been with two, she always going to be looking out thinking, oh, can I do better? What can I do better? Meanwhile, the one who's been with 30 been there, done that, so she'll be cooler.
Hmm.
And this is a guy been with 800 women.
Hmm.
And he had a really good point because sometimes you get some women and they got low count. It don't take much. They're actually easier for a dirty Mac to get. They actually easier. That
Yes.
one with a low count because she's always thinking I could do better. Meanwhile, that woman with a little bit higher count, been with quite a few men, she already knows like this ain't shit. Because the question you need to ask them, because a lot of times they'll tell you straight, they'll tell you the sex wasn't good. It wasn't nothing. And it's like cousin Tito said, it's like a handshake for them. And plus, it's not, they ain't connecting like people talking about fluid and stuff going up in them. Most of these women wearing condoms, man. They don't do going up in them wearing condoms. You don't worry about it. It's just a woman's character, whatever the case, her character, what it is, her character. Is she gonna be good to you? That's all you can control. You don't worry about what she did beforehand. All right. What she doing for you? How she making you wait? You don't worry about the number. You don't think about it. Just think, okay, is she doing this for me now? Because a
Absolutely.
lot of guys go crazy over it, and it's not nothing to worry about. In fact, I've seen some guys. If a woman been with three men, some guy called that a high body count. I was like, three, that ain't nothing. That
Right.
ain't nothing.
Right. And keep in
You
mind,
know.
at the end of the day, it's relative to how a man is cultured. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but part of our work, part of our mission in these conversations is to develop some of that culture in the men who look to these spaces for guidance, look to these spaces for the lesson plans of life so that they can have a variety of perspectives that hopefully will expand their mentality, that will expand their worldview, that will expand their view towards themselves and towards the women that they desire to acquire a dynamic relationship with.
Well,
Ron, do you have anything before we
well,
take
let me
out?
just say this. Let me just say this. Fellas, I'm just gotta be real with y'all. I gotta just be raw with y'all, right? I'm looking at some of these comments, man. Dude, just chill. Get out that vanilla mindset, okay? Cause don't trip. It's like cousin Tito said. Always remember what he said. Sex is like a handshake to women. You don't worry about it. All right. You don't worry about it. And see, if you're trying to get in the shadow world or something like that, you can't be tripping at all. Because trust me, I know there's some women who are probably looking at this, they being real quiet. Women observe that. They saying, okay, he might be down, but nah, he ain't down. Right? You can't be tripping because you never know. You never know. As long all you have to worry about is how that woman's treating you and whatever. You ain't gonna know how many men she been with. It don't really matter. What she doing for you now? Is she being an asset to you now or a liability? That's
Is a
all you
fact.
need to think about. Is she
Absolutely.
having good sex with you? Or is she giving you everything? Is she making you a sandwich? I mean,
Mhm.
seriously, you gotta think about all that. Don't worry about all that other stuff. Cause trust me, I'm gonna tell you what, man, these women be holding back. I already know they be holding back, and I don't care what their religion is, whatever. If they feel like the man is tripping, they holding back. Yeah, and yeah, they'll talk about how they went to church and do all that. They be getting down. These women want to be free. They want to get down in the bedroom. They want to do all that. But if you tripping or all of that, or acting like you looking for some virgin or something like that, or you tripping just because she got with 10 men or whatever, don't worry about it. It's like just give up. Don't even ask about the shadow world because you ain't gonna get there. Like I
Not even
said, if you got some of those women, they might have been at a party or something, and they might have been involved in some orgy or something with about 30 men or something. You can't be tripping. All
absolutely
right.
not. Charles, you absolutely will be a special guest coming up soon. Make sure you bring your cigars and that special bottle that you be having in your bags at the cigar lounge. All right. So thank you to everybody who participated. We hope that we got to your questions, but keep in mind that and to answer the question, can men and women be friends? It depends on the maturity of the man because
Mhm.
it starts and it ends with your level of maturity and mastery. Shout out to Ron
I
Wills.
be a player for life, so where's my wife?
And as always, this is your man, Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, saying stay sharp and mission focused. Later.